Hi, I'm Kirk Evans, president of US LawShield. We're here today to talk about some updates to Illinois law, specifically the imposition of what is called cashless bail. So on September 18th, 2023, the new law regarding cashless bail went into effect. This was all part of what is called the SAFE-T Act that was passed a couple of years ago, but there have been a number of challenges over the years in the court system that have it looks like they've been finally resolved. And so the portion dealing with cashless bail went into effect on September 18th, 2023. So what does that mean? What does the new law say? Well, so first off, the SAFE-T Act is several hundred pages long and deals with a bunch of stuff in addition to cashless bail. So I'm not going to go through all that in this video. We're just going to talk about the portions that might impact firearm owners in Illinois. So as a part of the new cashless bail system, everyone in Illinois is presumed to be entitled to pretrial release without having to post bail, a bond, or come up with the cash or anything like that. You're presumed to be allowed to, the second you are arrested and processed, to be allowed to leave, go home. But there are certain specific crimes that if you are charged with those crimes, you are not going to be allowed to leave immediately. Instead, there must be a hearing in the court system where the judge will determine whether or not you constitute a real and present threat to the safety of a specific individual, or if you are a flight risk. And if the judge finds one of those two things, you are not entitled to pretrial release, meaning you couldn't post a bond no matter how much money you want to come up with. You're not entitled to pretrial release, and you will stay in jail until the time of your trial. Whether or not you are found guilty or innocent will determine whether or not you get to go home after that. So what are the crimes that if you're charged with those crimes, you have to have one of these hearings to figure out if you're going to get pretrial release? There's a number of them: domestic battery, aggravated stalking, things like that. But the key for firearm owners is among those crimes are forcible felonies. So if you use your firearm and are charged with a crime, it's almost certainly going to be a forcible felony that you are charged with. Meaning if you discharge your firearm and you're charged with a crime, you are not going to be allowed out immediately, and you're going to have to go through one of these hearings. And if the court issues a finding that you're either a threat to a specific person or you're a flight risk, you will not be entitled to pretrial release. So what if the judge does not find one of those things? What if the judge says, okay, you're not a threat to somebody and you're not a flight risk, you can go home? There are certain mandatory conditions of pretrial release, meaning even though you were allowed to go, you have to meet certain conditions. And under the new law, one of those mandatory conditions is that you must surrender your firearms and your firearms owner ID card, unless the judge finds that that is clearly not warranted under the circumstances. So basically, unless there is a finding to the contrary, if you get pretrial release, you're going to have to turn over your firearms and your firearms owner's identification card. In addition to the mandatory requirements, the judge can also enter other optional requirements that could be restrictions on your firearm ownership or your ability to carry a firearm in the state of Illinois. So, good news for US LawShield members: your base US LawShield membership covers you through all of these proceedings. You will have an independent program attorney with you every step of the way to figure out if you're entitled to pretrial release, if you have to have a hearing on this subject, if you were to lose that hearing and need to appeal to get your pretrial release. Your independent program attorney will be there every step of the way at no additional charge to you as a part of your base membership. Other news for US LawShield members is you might be thinking, hey, I'm paying $2.95 a month for this bail bond expert witness add-on. And you might say, well, I don't need that anymore. There's no more bail bonds in Illinois. Couple things to consider here. So one, it's called a bail bond expert witness add-on, meaning even though bail bonds are a part of it, it also provides you with an expert witness for your trial if you're ever charged with one of these crimes. So if you'd like that expert witness, please do not cancel your bail bond expert witness add-on. A couple other things to consider is if you have multi-state coverage, your bail bond coverage will cover you if you were to go across to St. Louis or up to Wisconsin or over to Indiana. All of these states which do have bail bonds would still be covered by your bail bond expert witness add-on. Also, the bail bond coverage provides coverage at the federal level in Illinois. So if you were charged with a federal crime that's covered under your membership, you could utilize the bail bond expert witness coverage right there in Illinois. Thank you, and please go to uslawshield.com for more information.